Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a Circle of the Stars Druid build guide in Baldur's Gate 3's patch 8. This is in the stress test. The Circle of Stars Druid is a very interesting one because you get 3 different starry forms that you can go into. You got the Chalice, the Dragon, and the Archer, each of them having their own unique abilities. The Chalice is more of a healer, the Dragon gives you Constitution saving throw proficiency, and you can do the Dazzling Breath, which is a breath attack that attacks in a cone doing radiant damage, and the Archer form gives you a bonus action radiant attack that can do upwards of 2d8 plus your wisdom modifier of radiant damage, so it's actually pretty good. So we'll be covering the full video, or the full build in this video, starting off with their cantrips. Shillelagh or Shillelagh, this is a great choice early game. Do it on a torch and you got yourself one of the best early game damage options. We also got ourselves Thorn Whip here, which can pull targets closer to you. And for our ability scores, I think the best choice to go with is 8 strength, 16 dexterity, 14 constitution, 10 intelligence, 16 wisdom, and 10 charisma. And I'll be covering the gear in this video as well, and also covering what combat will look like if you're going to play as the Circle of Stars Druid. So into level 2 here, we're going to get ourselves the choice of our subclass. So we're going to go with the obviously Circle of the Stars with that cool new icon. So this gives us wild shape. The star map, which is a resource that allows us to cast Guiding Bolt. So we got a Guiding Bolt that uses the star map and one that uses spell slots. And this is 46 radiant damage and gives it a next attack roll advantage. We also got ourselves the starry form. You can expend a wild shape charge to take on a starry form. It's the Archer, Chalice, and Dragon, which I previously touched on. So you now have these different transformations, which are really cool. So you get Luminous Arrow, Chalice Healing, or the Dazzling Breath. And for our spells that we'll be selecting here at level 2, I think it's good to go with a Long Strider as well. Creature Destroy Water can be very effective for setting up surfaces. We also got ourselves Thunder Wave to push people off of cliffs, Ice Knife to be able to deal a little bit of ice damage, and you can cast this if you get silenced. I also think that Healing Word can be nice as a bonus action. Sometimes you just need to be able to pick up an ally that's getting hurt, and this can help you pick up downed allies as well. So into level 3 here, we get our choice of level 2 spells. So we can add into the mix Spike Growth, which we will remove later because at level 4 we get one of the best summons in the game with the Woodland Being, which can hold our concentration for us on that. We get our choice of another spell here, so either you can take one of these that you prefer. No real necessary one there. But at level 4 here we get ourselves Hold Person for our spell, and the feat is going to be an ability score improvement on our wisdom. Wisdom saves are also really nice saves to have too, so kind of twofold. So at level 5, we get an extra attack when in wild shape form, and we get another star map slot. We also get ourselves some more spell slot selection, so we get level 3 spells with things like Call Lightning and Plant Growth being good choices. Sleet Storm's also nice to upset concentrations on enemy spellcaster spells. At level 6, we get our subclass feature, the Cosmic Omen. Whenever you long rest, you can consult the stars for a Cosmic Omen of Weal or Woe. This omen will grant you the ability to increase or decrease attack rolls and saving throws, and to increase your allies' ability checks. It's actually pretty good. And we get ourselves another spell selection here, and the best ones we'll be getting will next level. So we'll take ourselves Moonbeam here. And once we make it to level 7 here, we get the best spells for the Druid with the Woodland Being. And then we can also take our minor elementals, and we can also set up surfaces with Ice Storm. So we have a lot of really great spells here to take. So you can swap off the Plant Growth or keep it if you like it. At our next level, Grasping Vine's also a nice bonus action because you can use it to pull enemies towards you, and it's an additional summon that can grab aggro. Confusion's another great spell. Wall of Fire's another great spell, so take those that you prefer. I'm going to go with Wall of Fire. It can be really great. So if you have a Warlock, you can drop down Hunger Vidar, a Wall of Fire, and then use Black Hole to suck everyone into it. It's actually pretty strong. At level 8, we'll go with Ability Score Improvement to increase our overall wisdom. And once we make our way to level 9, this gives us another Cosmic Omen and Star Map resource. And we get level 5 spells with some very strong ones like Insect Plague, which we can use for crowd control. Mass Cure Wounds can be good for healing, but Conjure Elemental is really effective, and I'll show you what we're going to want to do with this combination here. Once we get to level 10, 2 additional attacks in our Wild Shape. So this is kind of our last resort. We can go into our Wild Shape form, but we also get the Twinkling Constellations. Your starry forms are improved, so they get additional damage. The Archer and the Chalice Healing are both increased by 1d8, and the Dragon gets the ability to hover and fly at 6 meters movement speed. Pretty good. And we get another cantrip there and choice of spell, so we can go back to a previous level to take something like Confusion, which is actually really good. And then with our level 11, we get the level 6 spells, and we get some fun ones here. Nothing super necessary. Like Heal can be nice for that flat out 70 healing, no rolling die for it. Sunbeam can be good because we can blind a bunch of creatures with this and we can continually cast it. Hero's Feast is good because this makes you immune to the Cloud Kill spell. And Wall of Thorns can be good too for the crowd control that it brings. We're just going to go Sunbeam there. Nothing super necessary there. And I will keep this to full level of the Druid here. No multi-classing, just to keep things pretty straightforward as I test out different multi-classes. Typically the Druid's best to go to like 10 levels or 11 levels of this anyways. We have another choice of spell. You can go with Wall of Thorns, or we can go back to previous levels and take like Plant Growth again. Now for our feat, the Alert feat gives us a +5 to initiative and can't be surprised, which is really nice. We can also go with something like the Warcaster won't be very effective here because we have the Dragon form giving us the same benefits. But even like the ability score improvement on our dexterity can work well. Spell Sniper and taking Eldritch Blast is another choice some people like to go with. We're going to go with the Alert for the +5 initiative because that's always just a good choice to have. Now, what this ends up looking like as far as gear goes. So, we're going with ourselves the Hood of the Weave for the additional spell save DC and spell attack roll. The +2 is very nice. Cloak of Protection for better armor class, but again, cloaks, it's your choice. There's so many cloaks that don't provide much benefit, but that one works well here. We also got the Armor of Moon Basking. This gives us this extra temporary health pool in our wild shape, and reduces all incoming damage by 1 if we go into that form, and +2 to armor class if you're in your wild shape, and advantage on saving throws against spells in our wild shape. So that can be pretty nice. However, also the Armor of Landfall can give us additional health, or give us health whenever we're on a planned surface, and we get a bonus to spell save DC. And we get advantage on Constitution saving throws. However, we do get that from the Dragon form, and you also get it from the Amulet of Greater Health. So, depending on how you build this out, you could go with that armor instead. I'm just going to go with the Armor of Moonbasking. If we ever need to go to Owlbear form, we got extra health in that form and advantage on spells. Gloves of the Bliggard Skies here for stacking Reverberation on Thunder, Lightning, or Radiant damage, which we actually do quite a bit of. And I went with the Evasive Shoes. However, you can also go with the Boots of Stormy Clamor to further stack Reverberation, because if we inflict them with a status, we get 2 more turns of Reverberation. If you got the Illithid ability Drain, this will stack every time we do any spells. I also went with the Crusher's Ring for increased movement speed by 3. I mean, it's your choice for rings. The Ring of Regeneration is also nice for the additional healing that you can get from it, so we could go with that as well. Ring of Protection gives us a +1 to armor class, which is always nice. I went with the Hellrider Longbow for the +3 initiative, making sure that we do go first. And Marka Heshker for the staff, which gives us some powerful spells that we wouldn't normally get access to. This is something you'll get in the late game. Bolts of Doom will give us lightning charges, which will further stack up our reverberation stacks, so that's why we went with that. So what this will end up looking like in combat, we want to make sure that we're summoning in all of our summons as well. So we get the Arcane Battery, which will give us a free Conjure Elemental. And we want the Water Myrmidon because this can set up double damage for our Chain Lightning, which is really nice to have on our side. And in addition to this, we also get our free cast, which we can use to cast in another one if you got the Illithid ability for the free cast. So that free cast we'll use to also bring in another summon. So we got our Conjure Woodland Being we can go with. You can also just save this and use it for like your Sunbeam if you don't want to use this on your spell. So we can bring in our Woodland Being, which is a summon with a summon. Gotta love that. I heard you like summon, so we gave your summon a summon so you can summon while you're summoning. But this is going to hold Spike Growth for us. This is our crowd control beast. So it's actually really nice. Now, we got a few different spells. We can also bring in the minor elementals. They do get blasted pretty hard in Act 3, so I'm not going to bring them out just yet, but they are a backup if you need them. So what this will end up looking like in terms of combat. They actually make it so your Water Myrmidon can't cheese things for us, because normally we would want to use our Healing Vapors to set up water ahead of combat, but they make it so that you can't actually use that. It's pretty funny. So what we're going to be doing is we want to have our crowd control locked down. So I want to start off with my Woodland Being. If you know you're getting into combat, you can always just apply your combat of skills prior to fighting. So we dropped our ability there and got ourselves into a fight. So we didn't roll the same initiative as our Water Myrmidon. Typically, I'd have it go into the middle and drop water down on everybody. Oh, we got some hostiles behind us as well. Now, what we want to be doing is I applied haste to my character. So we got our guiding bolts here, so we can use these. We do get 4 free ones with the star map, which is pretty nice. And we also got our wild shape form, which we can go into our starry forms as a bonus action. Normally, these would take an action, but our other forms get a bonus action. So we got our archer form here, which luminous arrows deal additional damage. We got the healing form, and we got the dragon form, which will give us additional concentration saving throws and dazzling breath. I'm gonna go with the archer form here. So our next turn we will get some extra bonuses. We got our luminous arrow there, which will do a little extra damage as a bonus action. and we use our bonus action this turn. So what we're going to be doing is starting off with our most powerful spells, obviously, just to try and reduce as many targets as possible. That did a good job of taking people out, so they casted failed counter spell. Yeah, good try. And we stacking up reverberation with every attack that we drop. So we also got our we got our lightning bolt here, which can actually hit a few targets at a time, so that might not be a bad spell to use up here. Also, we got our ice storm too. But we want to use our crowd control because that's really where the druid shines, and we want to use our bonus abilities here, which we can't really use at the moment because we used up our action. So I'm just going to use up Market Heshker's special little bonus here, seeing how many I can hit. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we can hit both at the same time, so I'm going to take out the mage. Always go for their mages first because counterspell is a pain to deal with. So that was our first turn. We're stacking up reverberation stacks as well, which makes this really strong. So that's where we really shine, is crowd control. That's the druid's main job. So here's the cosmic omen, which I want to show off. So subtract a 1d6 from an enemy's attack roll, which would otherwise hit. They need a 23 to hit. They rolled a 25, so this 1d6 is actually a good choice. And we used it and we got saved, which is perfect. So that's where the wheels are woe. They are really nice. They do use your reaction, but you can basically protect your team kind of like what a light cleric would do. And I think that is awesome. So now we have a bunch of people here that are full of health, and our little bonus is we're gonna Misty Step our Myrmidon back here and then get him to drop this on all of our targets. I should have did a little closer to our Woodwoe to keep them alive, but our Dryad's full of health. So what this will do is apply water to all these targets. They didn't actually get healed, but now they're going to have wet applied to them. So when we hit them with our lightning spells or cold spells, they will take double damage from that. And we also got our woodland being here, which I usually just try to keep it away from the combat, but you can also just go with like you can strengthen up the shillelagh here and then go ahead with a twisted oak branch attack, which unfortunately we don't have an action for because we started combat. So we'll just take this away from everybody else, as we don't want to draw any aggro to it, as it's holding our concentrations, and they typically will go for it. But we also have other summons which have low armor class, which will draw attacks too. We also got our woodland being with the entangle, so we can use this to keep people in positions here and create difficult terrain. So that's where it really shines, because you can get them in and then get them out, and it can also jump. So it's pretty mobile. We'll keep that out of harm's way as much as possible. Thanks to our high wisdom, we just saved on command, which is huge because command can actually devastate us, and we don't want that. So look at all that difficult terrain, and we're going to make it even more difficult the moment we drop an ice storm. Unfortunately, we just lost our concentration on that. So yeah, that's what happens, unfortunately, with the woodland being. So I guess we have some targets here that we can hit with an ice storm. So we'll just drop this here in an area that's going to minimize the casualties to those folks there and create the most ice surface for us to play within. And yeah, ice surfaces are great because they don't require concentration. So then we can drop down something like a plant growth, or even go crazier with a confusion spell, which is great for then taking care of these folks. So we'll draw confusion. We got them all confused. Perfect. And then we got our starry forms, luminous arrow, or we can change starry forms if we want to, but I'm just going to drop a luminous arrow here. 95% hit chance. We'll go with the target that's most likely to have the biggest benefit. I guess we'll just go with this target here because they're close by. Boom. Stacks up reverberation, 4 stacks. That is huge. Bonus action, not a bad way to play that. So it's actually pretty strong. And our confusion spell is nice because then we can... didn't work out. 1 in 10 chance. Oh, he attacked them. I hit them with that as well. That's kind of funny. So confusion's nice because then you can turn a group of enemies against each other. Our ice surfaces are nice because we can make them slip and lose their turn. So you'll see here, we have a good amount of crowd control down. We got really lucky and they dropped a critical hit on one of our enemies here. So that was the target that I was going after. They had reverberation that built up on them. But yeah, confusion's really fun for that reason alone. Once you have people that are hit with water, you can then go ahead and drop like this down on them. I'm actually going to use the Myrmidon to teleport its way over here. It can't get knocked prone, so what's nice about that is you can actually use it to go over your ice surfaces and then continually work with those to drop a ton of damage down. I saw there's a group of 3 here, so not always is it going to hit, but it can sometimes hit for like 31, which is really nice to see. And we can drop our spike growth again, I guess, right here, or we can move it into a better location. This is really just it's used for its spike growth pretty much. So, I mean, that's not going to be huge, but it'll at least cause some damage to these that are running around. So we also got that, and then you can also just eat your little berries here to keep your woodland being alive. They're confused, but they're going to continually take damage, so this just works out for the best of our favor here, as they'll continue to take damage and damage each other. That only has 1 health there, so yeah, this is great. And we got them interfighting, so that's perfect. We can also just continually go with more entangles here, which is pretty nice. That's a nice benefit of playing with a the woodland, or the woodwoad here, is it's got lots of crowd control, which is fun because that's what the druid's all about. Ice surfaces, spike growth, and entanglement. And then we also have our grasping vine here as a bonus action too. But we got our confused targets here. They're only confused for a few more turns, so we want to go after the back line here. He's friendly, so I'm not going to worry about an opportunity attack. You can also drop down, if you don't have a concentration, you got insect plague is another really great option here. But again, we got plant growth as well as another crowd control option, so we can go with this here. This is going to hit the max amount of targets because we have 3 of them there, and one of them just got knocked prone. Unfortunately, there'll be a casualty there. So we can go with our guiding bolt that we get for free with the star maps, which is kind of nice. But we also got a spell here that'll blind everyone in its path. So we got a few good options. I guess we'll start with this here. It does end up requiring concentration, so I guess we won't go with that. Still a good spell to have, but Ice Storm will be really our biggest bang for our buck here. So we're just going to drop this down, try to miss the Myrmidon, and we can do it perfectly. So that took out all 3 of them. Perfect. That actually worked out much better than I thought it was going to work out. Now we got to deal with the rest of these here, which are going to interfight with each other, and we don't want to interrupt that. So we'll just go with our free guiding bolt, I guess, on the target with the most health. Or I guess the one that's going to be, they're all confused, so they'll just all keep fighting each other. I guess I'll drop it on this one, 90% chance with disadvantage. And then we also got our luminous arrow here too, which we're stacking up lots of reverberation. So he's got 4 stacks of reverberation there. And then we can also switch to the dragon form. So I'll use the dazzling breath next turn because we can use this to swap our starry form. Pretty cool stuff. I love the new sonic backlash whenever they cast a spell, because I was able to take him out there too. He was attacking one of them, and I said, nope, you're not going to do that. So now we got to try and find as many opportunities to attack as many targets as possible with our different abilities here. Water Myrmidon using its ice abilities. And then we also got this here. We can keep reapplying our spike growth, which is kind of a not bad thing because it has pretty much infinite options for his spells. Like you can continually keep casting spells and eating its berries to keep it alive. And the reverberation stack just built up there, as you could hear. This target's attacking us, so that's our next target. And reverberation strikes again. So we got our turn here. We have this one right on our behind. But what we can do is we can sneak around it. And then we got our dazzling breath here, which will hit 2 targets. Dazzling breath is a really cool ability. That took them both out. Huge. And that was just our bonus action, so we still have 2 actions, which we can use our star map guiding bolt on. So we'll blast them. That'll probably stack up. Yeah, that took them out. Reverberation stacks are going to be huge here, so I guess we'll go after this target here next. I probably should have went after the other one. We just have 1 target left, so they're just going to act pretty dumb. We got our... I love that the Myrmidon can just continually keep dropping this spell here. It's not going to be super powerful, but every little bit counts. And it's confused, so it doesn't know what to do. It's just gonna go and I guess attack our woodwoad, which it does not have a great chance of hitting. And we got our cosmic omen there again to help out with keeping it, and it got reverberation stacks, knocked it down. So we're just gonna use our free guiding bolt here, and this should hopefully be enough to take him out. Boom, there it is. That is the Star Druid in Baldur's Gate 3. This is actually a really fun class. Getting that dazzling breath is really strong, so dazzling breath, your archer attack. I unfortunately took out our woodland being with that. I think this is really cool. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next video.